Okay, first off is the DUNU VULKAN. This is the latest release by DUNU. It is a 2 dynamic 2BA, I believe. Might be mistaken there. This is the box. I'll show you the unbox and what's inside, and then I'll give you a close-up look at the earphones themselves, designed by DUNU. And take that off. In the top you've got, looks like Damascus steel. It's pretty cool the way that they designed that. It's got the DUNU multiple terminations, so you can switch it at the end. I'll give a closer look at that. Then on the inside you've got 3.5, 4.4, and 2.5. So you got 2 balance type that are pretty standard, and 3.5. And then you've got DUNU tips. And then next to that, you've got a box inside. Inside that box, you've got a case with quality control. One of the good things about companies like DUNU is they put a premium on QA. Quality assurance, quality control. Open up the case and you've got another set of tips for airplanes. A cleaning tool and a stereo plug, and that's what comes inside that. You also have a DUNU cleaning cloth. So you've got your terminations, your DUNU tips, your stereo plug you're using for an airplane, additional tips, cleaning tool, and your case. Nice case, by the way. Let's go ahead and take a look at the close-up of the Vulkan. Okay, let's take a closer look at the DUNU VULKAN. It is a 2 dynamic driver and 4 balanced armature set. Actually, it's got a 8mm structural foam cell dome and soft independent surround. 8mm. Then it's got another 8mm nanocrystalline titanium coated diaphragm. Balanced armature units are 4. Knowles mid-high driver times 2. Knowles dual super tweeter times 1. 2 of those. So got a total of 6 drivers. Very interesting configuration. Something that I thought I would probably appreciate based on the way that it's put together. The shell is very, very beautiful. It's like a Damascus steel or something like that. It looks very, very premium. It's got what's probably the breather vents for possibly the dynamic drivers right at the end right there. It's got a pretty standard mesh steel grill on the top. It's got a breather hole right there at the base of the stem, and then you can see the branding right there. Then on the outside, it doesn't appear that there's any additional breathing. So in front of the drivers is probably here, and then behind the drivers is probably there. And it is a 2-pin. The cable is like a lot of DUNUs. It's I can't remember what this is called, but this is how you can switch to any configuration you want, which is very nice. The price of this will be announced when it's released, so I'm not going to give any opinions on its sound quality right now in respect to DUNU, because when they are ready, they'll say they're ready, but I think I can do a unbox right now. I don't think there'll be too much of a problem with that. So that's an unbox of the DUNU VULKAN. It's a beautiful set. It comes with basically everything like the top of the line DUNU sets come with, though this is certainly not going to be priced at the top of the line. It comes with everything. Very nice job. My video will be coming up when DUNU announces the release of the set. The price is given and people can order it. So this is a close-up first look, and that is the DUNU VULKAN. Beautiful. Okay, the next set is the Softears Turii. I believe that's the name of it. Forgive me if I'm wrong. This is the titanium version. It's really not differently tuned than the original one. Twist your ears. It's the first thing you see. And that's a hint what's coming. And this is actually kind of wobble twisted, so it's appropriate. The fit of these is very interesting, and they're telling you right at the beginning, twist. That might not be what everybody wants. Opening it up, again, these are the titanium version. I think these were a limited run. I'm not really sure. I'll go ahead and give a close-up look to this, and I will give opinions on the sound of this one. Take this out. I'm doing this unboxing video because all three of these sets are really actually pretty nice in what they're offering. And this is the Softears version. We just saw DUNU, or depending on how I do this video, you might not have seen that yet. Take this off. You've got the nice covers that should come with sets that you want to protect. This should be standard for all earphones that are over $500 in my opinion. This is a nice, it's cheap. It's a very smart idea to keep your earphones protected from bumping and scratching into each other. That's something that I don't. This is what Empire Ears didn't do. It would send me these, and they still never did. They wanted me to pay $60 shipping for these from them, even though I already paid for a full set of their set. So there's that. But moving along. So this should be standard, in my opinion, anywhere over $500. It may be lower than that. This doesn't cost much money. Companies should kind of consider that. Inside, you've got a warranty card, I suppose, is what this is. And you've got actually lots of stuff. You've got the terminations. I believe that's a 2.5. And you've got 4.4. And then filters. These are for inside of the nozzle. These are kind of like what Sony uses. Softears uses it as well. Got additional tips. Got more additional tips. We've got Softears. Get that out of here. Softears tips. Literature. And then inside here, you've got a nice storage case. And this is I believe it's liquid links. There's a cleaning tool inside there and also a wipe cloth right there. I believe these are called liquid links, and I have this same. I have a higher grade version of this brand's cable that was discontinued, which is called the Venom. Can't remember the name of this cable. It's very, very nice though. You can see the branding right there. I believe it's called liquid links. I think so. The termination switch on this, and this is a stock cable that comes with the Moondrop, or the Softears, excuse me. You can just squeeze that out. Actually, you rotate this, and then you can remove that. I'm actually not going to do that, but you can see where that is. So you slide this up. It's got the branding right there. And you rotate it, just kind of screw it on to the sleeve, and then mine's 3.5 because that has to be for my review. So the cable on this is fantastic. For the price that they ask for this, I would expect that, but it's really nice to get a cable from a company that it's on my favorite, the Elysian X. And then it's terminated at 2-pin, which is, I guess, okay. So let me go ahead and move that to the side. I'm going to go ahead and do a close-up of this set and give some impressions on it. So let me move this to the side. Okay, it's Softears Turii. I'm probably messing that up. It's a very interesting design, and we can't get past that. So let's talk about that before we talk about sound. They intentionally made it, and they told you at the beginning, you know, twist your ears. The way that it's designed is it's named partly because of that. You've got to stick it in your ears and then seat it and kind of rotate it. It's a very kind of odd fit style, and it was done intentionally, and I'm really not sure why. It's using it's got 5 little vents in the front here. It's very kind of similar to the illumination in a way, this part of the shell. And then the back part is obviously very different. That's got like gold with the, I think, 7 angles that's cut into it like a diamond. So this is quite different, but that is kind of reminiscent of that. So that's the front breathing of the driver. I'm not sure if there's any other. There's another part right there. And I think that a design like this in particular, would be something that would benefit from Pentacon or MMCX, which I love Pentacon. MMCX I'm not that big a fan of, but where you've got to kind of have a second pivot point while you rotate it and then maybe turn it a little bit. It might have benefited from having a little bit of extra maneuverability going this way. So when you twist it and you put it into your ear and you get it seated, if this was MMCX instead of 2-pin, you might be able to play with it like a second hinge, pretty much. And I think that would have really been practical with this, because the 2-pin makes one of these points. You've simply got to put it in and then rotate. A secondary maneuver would have been nice, and that would have been by having something like the Pentacon, which is going to be in a set coming up next. So the design is unique. I think the sound is good. It's got a profile that's kind of, again, not very different from the illumination in the low frequencies with the sub bass. The mid bass and going into the mids is relatively the same. This is, I think, a little bit higher in energy and its amplitude as we get from the mid bass into the mids. The replay of drums, bass guitar, male vocals sounds natural. It's not overly emphasized. There's a little bit lacking of the punch when it comes to something like a triple drop on Kill Jill. Some of the pulls and releases on bass guitars are natural. Sometimes can seem like, for a person like me that likes the low end, I would like a little more punch, but that's not the tuning, and I knew it when I bought this, so it's not really a ding, but be aware of that. If you're looking for something that really hits hard, this probably wouldn't be the set you're looking for, but it is accurate. The mid frequencies to the upper mids, the mids containing really almost all the fundamental frequencies of everything that I listen to in a rock and roll library. It sounds clean, it sounds good. There's no dip, there's no haziness, there's no veils going on. The upper mids are somewhat pronounced compared to everything that comes prior to it. It's got a plateau. I don't have the graph in front of me going by my ear and by what I remember, what I took a look at. I might post it up on here when I edit the video. It sounds, the only time the tuning ever was notable to me was with female vocals, where they sounded, particularly Stevie Nicks on Rumors, she sounded a little bit forward. Male vocals didn't ever really get that effect, even Neil Young, which actually sounded kind of polite on this. It's a good set. It doesn't fail anywhere. It's the fit and the price, I guess, that are the things that you've got to consider. If you get this and you bought it, number one, you probably have good money. Number two, you'll put up with the little quirks. If you do have this, please comment below. I really think that something like this would have benefited from a rotating. MMCX is something a lot of people don't like, but the Pentacon that Elysian X has, and also the next set that I'm going to show to you, does have a high quality rotating style where you could have had 2 points of secure it and then that little extra to get the angle to perfectly fit you, where you don't have a lot of flexibility with this. So it's a good set. Are things worth their price? Are you a doctor? Are you working at a convenience store because you're a university student? It depends on where you are in life if this is worth it. It plays back music well. It's not the best dynamic driver out there. It's got a quirky fit, and it's for people that like to have the latest and the greatest and take pictures and brag about their stuff, which I do sometimes, so there's nothing wrong with that. Definitely be advised. Sound is good. It's not spectacular. Fit is definitely unique. Pay attention to that. That's the Softears Turii. This is the titanium version. It doesn't get a wreck because I think it's limited edition, Freudian slip, edition, and I'm out. Okay, this is a set called the Madoo. Comes in like a stack type box. Go ahead and take the cover off of there. This off, and they're like jewelry. Is the Madoo. It is the finest build quality that I've ever seen on any earphones, because of, you'll see when I show it up close. Boom, 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 background noise. So there it is. You take the top stack off, and then down below you've got the case. We'll go ahead and open the case. which is fairly large. Open that, you've got Madoo Typs. Put that over the side. And you've got two cables actually. This would be the 3.5. This has what is called pentacons. I love these. These are like MMCX, except they go in with a very slight, and then you can pull it out. There's no like pulling on stuff. It's if you've ever used this, my Elysian X, my favorite set of all time, uses the same termination. So this is an expensive set. This set contains three planars, three micro planars. They're little square planars. It's like a new technology. It's the reason I bought these, because it's rare that something new comes along. These were used in the Astle and Kern set, and this is another set that's using it. They look kind of like balanced armatures, but inside they contain planar drivers. So this is very interesting. Again, the cable, this is a 3.5, and it's Pentacon, which is just boss. It's the best cables that you can buy out there. This is the thing that would have been nice on the Softears, because it's high quality, it's a high-end type termination, and it allows you to have that second point to rotate to get the guaranteed secure fit. In addition to that, there is a 4.4 balance cable, so you've got two cables that come with that, which is always very, very nice and appreciated. And inside here you've got a dry gel. So I'll go ahead and put that back in there. This is the 4.4. This is the 3.5. And that's what comes with this set, pretty sure. And I'll go ahead and give you guys a closer look at it. Okay, this is a closer look at the Madoo Typ TYP 711. It's one of the most bonkers names possible. The quality, this is kind of heavy. The quality of the build on this, it's got the torque screws that you can just take off, and it's also got the Pentacon right there. It's got sapphire glass, whatever that is, right here. The build quality is just amazing on this. Again, inside it's got 3 planar drivers and 2 balanced armatures. The graph would indicate intense replay, and the graph is not wrong, but it's not quite as intense as I thought. When I first got this set and I graphed it, trying to imagine the integration of 3 planars and 2 BAs, I thought this was going to be a new version of disaster. How do you put that together? And it actually looks like a intense set, but it doesn't really look odd in any other way. The bass looks appropriate. The mids look reasonable. The replay of the bass is actually quite nice. For a planar, probably my favorite. It plays back things like Kill Jill by Big Boy. It's got the slam, probably as good as any planar that I've got when it comes to that part, which is amazing because it's a micro planar that's taking care of the bass. So there's a planar driver that's just dedicated to the low end, and there's another planar that's dedicated to the mids, and then there's another planar, and I'd be remiss, I don't recall exactly if that's taking care of just the upper mids or the upper treble, and the BAs are taking care of the lower treble. I'm not sure. You could check that easily online yourself. There is like a vent right here. I'm not really sure why, but I don't know how those planars are working. There's one in the schematic, if you look at the pictures online, where it's got like a breather net on top of what looks like balanced armature boxes, but within those boxes, some of them anyway, are planar drivers, little square planar drivers. So the bass on this sounds good. It sounds very good, actually. The mids sound clean. When you get to the upper mids and treble, you have some moments where it sounds kind of intense. It's got a very unique replay. If you're familiar with planars now, like the 7 Hz Timeless and that kind of planar glow, it's hard to describe, but it does have that, but not quite in the same way. It's a unique. This is like $1,500. I don't feel bad at all. I want to try the latest stuff. Intense, but if everything in my library was basically sounding the same, there'd be no reason to be getting other stuff. So it's nice to try different takes. This would be something that would be more ideal for medium to lower listening volume levels, where you don't need to turn it up and you don't want to turn it up. You like lower volume, but you get all the details. This type of tuning gives you that and does it in a unique way that I find to be appealing. I saw some early reviews that were in Japanese, and I translated them to English, and they were talking about low end being kind of light, and that's actually not the. You guys know I like the low end. This actually does that quite well, as good as any planar out there. It does the mids very well, and it does the treble in a way that's can be intense depending on your volume. I listen at 77 dB. Of course, there's a dynamic range which fluctuates around 15 to 16 dBs while music is playing, goes below and goes above that. But at 77 dB, I found this to be an enjoyable listen. That might be kind of quiet for some people, but I got either sensitive ears or good hearing, or good hearing equals sensitive ears, depending on what we're talking about. So this is the Madoo Typ 711. It's just a bonkers name. Comes with two nice cables. It's got the excellent Pentacon termination style. It's a brand you've never heard of. It's a tech you've never tried, probably, unless you tried that AK. If you're a big baller with money, I'd recommend getting this, just so that you can have that in your mental library, whether or not you like it. You might get addicted to it for its ability to play back stuff at a low listening volume, but get everything, where there's a lot of times where balanced armatures and other stuff makes it sound like you turned it up a click and there we go. This is the opposite. Turn it down and, well, I still got everything, and it's very clean and it's fast. Very nice. I'm a fan of this, actually. And this type of termination should be standard for stuff that's in the expensive price range, because it's so. If you've never used Pentacon, try it at a shop. Just the experience of something that looks like MMCX. It doesn't act like that at all. You stick it in and it's snug enough to hold on to the bud or whatever it's attached to, and then when you pull it out, it's not a struggle. You don't even have to grip it hard. It just pops out. It's brilliant, actually. Like it a lot. So this is a Madoo, I'm not sure. Very interesting. Spent a lot of money. Totally satisfied. And I'm out.